I'm going to do plays that I'm going to call name plays, where the name of the play is the name of the main character. So one of them is going to be called Landon. When my mom, before we moved to Texas, in the last 3 years that I was living in Minnesota, I married Jessica, and Jessica and I lived in the house that my mom had. My mom took an apartment, and for those 3 years, she acted as the babysitter to this young boy, this tot, who was like 3 or 4, 5 at the most, when my mom moved away with me in in 03 to Texas. And I thought, wouldn't it be interesting? I said, I get all of these people like you, young people like you, or Chin, or Tom, or Keith, or Alex, or Laura Woods, or a number of these other people who write to me and want advice. So I said, wouldn't it be interesting if I get a kid writes to me, finds my website. In this universe, Cosmoetica is called omniversica.org, but he finds this website, and he's writing to Danny Wagner for a year or so. And then it turns out that he finds out that the woman he called Omar as a boy, who he thought was related as a grandma, really wasn't. But it turns out that that was Helen Wagner, Danny's mother. And in the course of their emailings back and forth, Danny says, that's my mother you're talking about. I lived in Minnesota. My mother, so you're the Landon kid that from almost 20 years ago has now grown up and become a fan of my website. And so that's going to be that play. And then there's the play that I told you just about the woman who is a drunk. I've mentioned this woman who is a rock singer and a drunkard and whatnot. And but anyway, I was recently, last weekend, I watched with Jessica the Cassavetes movie, Opening Night. And in Opening Night, the play that the Jenna Rollins character acts in is called The Second Woman, sort of a play off The Third Man. And I said, well, why don't I do a play with that title? And here, this drunk rock singer gal, and this is the play that I was talking about where she was a classical music student, so I'm going to need to have an actress that actually knows music in this role. But wouldn't it be interesting if I do this play, and so she is the second woman that I want. She was a friend of this dancer woman that I mentioned in this other play, and for most of the time I knew her, you know, the month and a half, 2 months that I was involved with her or whatnot, she ended up going back to her boyfriend from the band, her ex-boyfriend from the band, and then she came after me 6 months later when he dumped her or broke her heart again. And I said no. I was sort of wanting the dancer. So she was the second woman on my list. So that's why the play is called The Second Woman.